School is great for teaching you about many subjects apart from money. Even in business, you'll learn about economics, but never about how to make money and, more importantly, keep your money. So in this video, I wanted to share with you 6 lessons that I have learned as a 25-year-old with over £70,000 of money saved up from scratch. The first on that list is that money is linked to value and the solutions that you can provide. Throughout school, you're told to work hard, follow the norm, get a 9 to 5 in a good company, and progress through your career to make money. And that those who progress the most and are the most loyal to their company will have the most opportunities later in life in their 40s, 50s and 60s. Yet you will probably see online a bunch of people younger than you, looking more fulfilled than you, making a lot more money than you will, and working and living life on their own terms. And that's because these people have learnt that money, and vast money, is linked to value. The more value that you can create, or the more value that the customer perceives you have created, the more money that they're going to pay for it. The whole definition of money is that money is a system of value that facilitates exchange of goods in an economy. Think about anything you buy in life. You buy it because that product or service is of high enough value and is a solution to make your life that little bit easier. Think Netflix. You pay for the service of having near unlimited things to watch at any given moment. You buy a car to save time and that you don't have to walk everywhere. Businesses will buy software to automate their tax returns, their payroll, their HR systems. So every time you buy something, just think you're buying it because it makes your life that little bit easier or that little bit better. And that is the value you want to create. So if you want to make money and you want to make real money, you either need to find a product or a service that either costs a lot and you sell to a few niche customers, or you find a product or a service that you can sell to the masses at a smaller cost. Remember, don't think of money as something that can only come through employment. Look to solve problems, create value, and then you will start to see the money rolling in. The second lesson that school doesn't teach you about money is that you need to be specialised and get good at one skill first. In school, you will be a generalist. You'll be in multiple different lessons learning about multiple different topics, but you'll never be a specialist in any of them. Which is why most people coast through school and then they coast through life because they just don't know what they're good at. But as humans, you'll find that we only enjoy the things that we're good at. However, to get good at something, you have to put the time in and you have to put the effort in, otherwise you'll never see the returns. It was the exact same for me when I started editing these videos. I switched to some new software, which is via Adobe, and I just could not get it right, but I had to keep sticking with it. I had to keep doing trial and error to get good at the skill, and then now, hopefully, it's going to start to pay off. And for a large amount of people, you're probably in a career that you don't really enjoy. You don't really feel fulfilled in your job, and you just find it as a way of earning a paycheck every single month. Now, part of that might be because you're okay at your job, but you aren't the best there because you haven't yet mastered the skill. And that's completely okay, but if you want to be the best and you try to be the best, you will find whatever you do that little bit easier, and your colleagues and your bosses will pick up on it too. So if you're in sales, just get good at sales. Don't worry about marketing or product or operations, just focus on being the best salesperson that you can be. And your job will become so much more easier and you'll be so much more fulfilled in that job because you're actually good at it and you can do it and you can do it well. You have to remember that for most, your career is your biggest wealth building tool. So you have to get good at it in order to see the most opportunity, see the most amount of money coming in, and you're going to be there for a long time. So you may as well enjoy what it is that you do. And then whilst you are doing this and whilst you are increasing your earning potential, you can also do side hustles as well. And you can start building businesses in the background to further increase your earning potential. And you can focus down on learning new skills in that secondary income. But for now, focus on doing well in your job and start progressing through the ranks and start getting more opportunities whilst you're there. The third lesson that school never teaches you about money is always have a budget. A budget isn't there to limit the amount of fun that you can have or put a strain on your life. In fact, it's actually meant for the complete opposite. If you budget, you'll find yourself having more money to spend on the things that you want rather than wasting money every single week. And you'll actually find yourself saying yes to those bigger purchases such as your holidays, cars, or even house deposits. With budgeting, if you know how much the bigger purchase is going to cost, you can use it to start working backwards. So if you're saving for a house deposit and it's £20,000 and you're trying to do it within 2 years, you can break down exactly how much money you need to be saving per week to get to that goal. Whereas if you have no budget in place, you're just going to hope and pray that in 2 years you're going to be at £20,000, which most likely you aren't. So budgets are super useful for allowing you to save quicker, limit unnecessary spending, and still give you the freedom to spend your money on what you actually want to. So track your finances to accumulate money a lot quicker. The fourth money lesson that school doesn't teach you is to buy assets before you buy liabilities. Robert Kiyosaki says it best in Rich Dad Poor Dad with, "Rich people buy assets, Middle class buy liabilities they think are assets, and the poor only have expenses. If you want to be rich, stock up on assets that will generate good cash flow for you. In the book, he explains how he buys assets through the form of rental properties, which bring him a set income every single month, and at the same time those properties increase in value. And while he is doing this, the middle class are going out and buying liabilities that they think are assets, such as purchasing your own home, where they will completely pay off a house as quickly as possible, rather than focus on buying real assets that are actually going to generate them an income, rather than just sat there holding cash. And that the poor only have expenses such as rents, car payments, and don't buy any assets at all. So his idea early in life is that you need to buy assets and you need to stock up on them now. These assets could be stocks, rental properties, businesses, whatever you can buy that's going to go up in value and bring you an income in, he's classing as an asset. And at the same time, you need to put off buying those liabilities. Wait until you have enough money coming in from your assets to cover the cost of those liabilities. Picture it this way: if you have a rental property and it's bringing you in £300 per month net profit, at that point, you then might be able to buy a car for £300 per month. Ideally you wouldn't, but you can use your asset to cover the cost of the car. However, if you go and buy the car first at £300 per month and you've got to put down a £20,000 deposit that you could have put towards your asset, like the rental property, you will then understand that you've essentially wiped out all of that money that you could have put towards the asset to pay for the car in the first place. So his idea is buy the assets first and then buy the liabilities later in life if you want to. It's plain to see that many people do follow the poor mindset though. You don't have to be earning minimum wage to be classed as having the poor mindset. You can be earning £200,000 per year and still be living in the poor mindset of always increasing your spending with lifestyle inflation, never buying any assets, and as a result you'll always be working for money rather than have money work for you. The next thing that school never taught us was to focus on our own lane. When in school, you'll constantly be comparing yourself to others, who got the best grade in the last test, who's the best at a certain subject, who's the cleverest overall. And yes, while competition is good, in the world that we live in, where everything is a highlight reel on Instagram and social media, and every time you go on these apps you see people having crazy lifestyles, doing really well, and everybody seeming to have millions of pounds, it can often leave with people trying to keep up with this. Instead, just focus on what you are doing. It doesn't matter that your friends just bought a brand new car or a brand new Rolex. Focus on what matters to you, focus on your own lane, and keep trying to get ahead. And don't go broke trying to look rich. Buy those assets first, create real wealth, not just social media wealth. The same can be said when it comes to starting a business or breaking out the 9 to 5. A lot of people follow the norm, they stick to what their teachers, parents, friends are doing and staying in that 9 to 5, which definitely is not the wrong answer here. I've still worked within my 9 to 5. But if you do want to do more, then do it. Don't focus on what someone else tells you to do or wants you to do. Do exactly what you want to do and just focus on your own lane. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Try again. But always do exactly what you want to do. And the 6th and final lesson that school doesn't teach you about money is to start investing and start investing early. This point is probably one of the most important. I honestly believe you could mess up the previous 5 and you could still do well if you just invest money and you invest your money early. Investing for me can come into 2 forms: investing in skills and then investing in assets. If you invest into your skills and you invest in your skills early and you become a specialist early on, the more money you'll be able to demand at a younger age. And the more money you can demand at an early age, the more money that you will have to be able to invest. And if you can do this early on, you will see yourself being much further ahead than any of your peers and a lot of people a lot older than you as well. And when it comes to investing in assets, one of the biggest assets that you will have on your side as well will be time. Look at Warren Buffett. He first started investing at age 11, buying his first shares in City Service. I'm not saying that you will be a multi-billionaire if you start investing at age 11, but the earlier that you can invest, the more time you will allow for compound interest to be working its magic. If you just start investing at £200 per month at 20 years old, an 8% return, such as something in the S&P 500, by the time you're 40, you'll have over £117,000. At 50, almost £300,000. And at the retirement age of 65, you'll have over £1 million saved up. So if you can invest and you can invest early at a young age, you will have a huge nest egg for by the time it comes to retirement. And this can be alongside any property or pension investments that you've got along the way as well. So always invest your money and invest as much as you possibly can at a young age, just to allow compound interest to be working its magic over all those extra years that you've got. So there we have it, the 6 lessons that school doesn't teach us about money. Let me know if you've heard any of these before, if you've got any of your own lessons, and drop them down in the comments below. And then hit the like button, drop a subscribe, and I'll see you for the video next week.